My name is Abiodun Oyewole, and I'm one of the founding members of the Last Poets. And I've been in New York most of my life. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I moved to New York when I was very young. I lived in Queens, but I've always had a fondness for Harlem, and I've been living here in Harlem for over 35 years. And it's been a real joy. And when we talk about how music has shaped New York City, we've got music has taken on a number of, I should say, moldings of New York, more or less, in a sense. I think in every section of New York, you might find different kinds of music has an influence over the people. Hip hop is very big, and it has been for the last 20 years. But jazz still has its place, and it does have a serious place for those of us jazz aficionados, and it still is happening here in New York. There is different subcultures in different parts of the city. For example, Harlem has a particular style of music. Jazz is still has a foothold here in Harlem still. You can go to some clubs on a weekend and you can hear a good jazz concert. And jazz has not been played up as much as it used to be, but it's still here. There are a number of other sources of music that exists here. African drums is a part of my background in terms of what I play and what I love, because the group, The Last Poets, we use the drums a lot, and there are always some kind of drum gatherings, and Montmartre Park is the most famous place. Every Sunday we have a lot of African drummers come together and play just to exercise their rhythmic hearts, and it's a beautiful thing to see and feel. But I wonder, music would probably, without music in any town, especially this city, you could really go crazy because it's very, very crowded. People are constantly hustling about, and you need something to kind of help center you and to help keep you at a kind of a calm pace, because it can be kind of erratic in New York. Some people are totally intimidated by the crowd. I think when you have your music, you could be in the middle of rush hour and still kind of feel like you're in your own world. Because when you're listening to your music, you don't pay much attention to anything else. That becomes the voice of your soul. The blues was created because we had deep feelings about our lives and who we were and what we were going through, whether it was good or bad. And we would make up a song about it. And that song in many ways became the antidote to whatever pain that we were going through. And so we would sing the blues, and the blues became very popular. And then blues artists became very known, and many folks know of Howlin' Wolf and Lightning Hopkins and John Lee Hooker and B.B. King and all of those cats. And all because everybody has a soul, and everybody wants that soul to be echoed in some form or fashion where they can identify. And the artist, the musician's job is to kind of give you a reflection of yourself in sound and hopefully elevate your mind to a point of getting you away from the doldrums and from the heartaches and pains. R&B is still around, but it's nothing like it used to be, because a lot of people are talking now or rapping now, and they're not really as much into singing as much as they used to. But every so often, you'll hear you'll get a taste of some old-fashioned singing that still kind of touches the soul and make you feel good. I think because you got the Apollo here in Harlem, that has a great influence on a lot of things because people still come to try their skills out on amateur night, and hopefully the Sandman won't come and drag them off the stage, because that does happen if the audience decides that they don't particularly like you. So it's a tough town as well. So when you're talking about music in the city, I think whatever you play, whether it's blues or jazz or hip hop or just do a poem, if it's good, if you have quality and if you have a good presentation, people will accept it. I don't think that we're caught up as much in a particular genre of that without giving respect to others, and as much as some people may think. Folks kind of have a wide range of appreciation for music on a lot of levels, and I know that I've experienced the variety of people loving Whitney, as well as people, loving Nas and Public Enemy and all that, and all the other hip hop groups that have existed, and so music. It's kind of like the motor of many of our lives, and the subculture that exists in every borough. There's a particular identity that they've established with their music, and I think when it comes to this particular part of town, Harlem, I'd say jazz and hip hop still reign. But the music, if it's got a nice rhythmic beat and you're saying something, I don't care what it is for the most part. I can relate as long as we've got somewhere where you can get into the groove, you can move your body, move your head, but at the same time we should say something so that your brains don't become stagnant.
When the revolution comes, when the revolution comes, when the revolution comes, but until then.